So based on where we are, just to give you a sort of a recap, generally speaking, anybody who finds the URL will just come up to an open screen. But those that come in by email will come in with pre-populated information. So that information will be, and I'm not supposed to use the word. I want you to note I use the year 2000 because that's really where I was hoping to be born. So, but anyway, this information, if it's available, will be right here. So if we only have your first name and your email, only that will be populated. If we have your first and last name and email, that will be populated. And if people opt in additionally or on a second time or a third time, we'll have even the mail and date of birth and postal code pre-populated. They will always have to check the contest rules and privacy, though. Okay. Now, have you read through or looked through the rules or the privacy?
No.
Okay. I would encourage you to do so, only because it's one of those things that, we use a pretty standard boiler template kind of piece, and it's worked. We've not had any trouble, but by the same token, we like to. The initial stuff was written by a lawyer way back when, but we still like you to kind of go through it and double check it just to make sure we haven't missed anything. Okay, so, and no rush to do that, but just in case, I'm always worried when, because somebody will ask a question saying, what do you mean by that? And I just think it's important we have that kind of covered off. So obviously they go to next steps here, and this is where they can choose their coupons, right? So I want this one, or this one, or I can even skip one if I want, or skip two and say I want this one, and then change my mind. So they have the option of going back and forth and looking at them. And then once they pick their coupons, they can naturally go along. This is where we hope to build out the most of the new captures for email and Facebook likes. So again, where I think that's clear. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and again, we come up and we'll see if my Facebook's open. And it isn't. So they have to do this if they have to log in if they aren't logged in, but if they are logged in, it will go in straightforward. And that image, again, this image will change along with the rest of the program in colors, but sometimes Facebook will archive that image. So it may take days sometimes to get it straight. We're running a campaign now. I think we're on day 4, and they still haven't done a refresh on the cache. So, and I can just say great fun here starting Friday. And that's where we really hope to capture most of the email opportunity. Facebook accounts, depending on the program, somewhere between about 60 and 80% of the activity. We can also do this on Twitter as well. And we'll see. I think you saw a little bit about that yesterday. And again, I'm not logged in. Can you imagine that? And we do have a little update here we have to do on the Twitter messaging. Avars, are you there? Only because it's showing me as at a different, just over the Twitter feed number. Are you with me there?
Yeah, yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay, that'd be great. So we could make sure we get that figured out, because that will come up, and we'll double check that again later today. Megan, just to make sure, but it should come up with just under
Okay.
so about 100. We'd like it to be about 130 characters, so that we can just say, hey, or, don't miss this, or whatever we want to say. So in the interim, just so I can carry on, I will put that out. And then LinkedIn again as well. We can share that. And again, my LinkedIn's not open. I won't go through that process. and then email, we can share it as well. So I can share it with anybody I like. So, and depending on the demographic, we really never know what shares more or less. Interestingly enough, as I said, Facebook's about 60 to 80%. Twitter generally holds true at about 8 to 12%. We recently had a program where LinkedIn, with an unusual group as well, came out at about 15%. So we just never know where they're going to share it. And I think a lot depends on their accounts. And email used to be a big seller, but it tends to be, especially with the younger users, it's really not overly active. So again, it ranges between 4 and 8% generally. So as far as the sharing goes. Additionally, they can complete. They get a nice happy shopping, and they can download their coupons here and print out the ones that they actually picked. So pretty straightforward, and away they go. And the good news is we do know what day they converted, and we do know, who the user is. So if we find somebody who's very influential, obviously we're going to want to target those people through the process, and we will give you some feedback on that after the process. Then we go back to sharing here. We like to do that only because it gives us a chance to reach out again if somebody kind of didn't really understand it or whatever. We like to get them back to the page, get them back to the process. So, did you have any questions about that?
No, the only question that I have is what was the deadline for the April offers so I can start finding?
Well, we'd like to have them right now, but I guess since we're going, we'd like to have this out, at least a month out, but no later than 3 weeks. Only partially because we do need to build some emails. We need to test, and we actually have to build the coupons in the back end and make sure they're up and running and that kind of thing, right? So there is a bit of work, and just in case, it just gives us a little. The last thing we want to do is not have our offer up and running on the first of each month. Right. The email drivers are scheduled to go out. The one, we're doing 2 versions, and I'll review that with you. One is going out on the 1st of every month, and the other one will go out about the 15th. We're probably going to make that the second Tuesday of the month or something, but we'll feel that out as we sort of break it out. Okay. So I'm going to just review the dealer sheet with you, and I'd like you to share this with all your gang. And what I thought we could do is share this out in advance. That way they can have a look at it, make sure they understand the program. That way if they opt in, at least we know they have some interest in sort of what we're talking about here. So the full downloadable template is here, as you can see, so they can actually download that process. So they can actually download it and print it out. Okay. So I don't know that we need to wait for that, so I'm going to hit my back button. And then as you scroll through, they have the program, what's in it for me. Obviously, we're showing the site, and then we have the seasonal variations. We haven't really nailed down the variations. We wanted to launch with the green, and then we thought we should get right into spring for, is green 2 months, Ivars? Maybe you could just give me a recap on what we decided there so far.
So green was just running for the first month. And then we've got spring coming up next, which is basically just 2 months, so April, May. After that, we're going into summer, which is June, July, August. Fall, which we're doing September, October. And then we're going into winter for November, December, January, February.
And then we had talked about maybe going back to the green in February just to make sure we sort of solidified the brand a little bit. So, but as you can see here, I think it's a nice break, and it'll create some interest for all those who are sort of in the program. So, and we'll go through that. So if you have some thoughts on that, Megan, we'd be happy for you to, jump in at any time and say, hey, you know what, maybe we should change it up or whatever. Okay. All these templates are built and ready to go, so there's no issues there whatsoever for us to implement them. Then the monthly emails, and I'm just going to shrink my screen down a little bit here so we can see the whole email. Um, so as you can see there, that we've got the whole email where we're sort of talking about the prizes, this month's secret deals, enter to win. So if we only have one offer for a month, we're okay with that. If we have three, we're great with that. Or if we have five, we're good with that as well. We'll know that that's going to head out here, so they'll know what months that's from. So, and again, that's one of the issues we want to review with the dealers. They can have a coupon open for a month or for a quarter or for the whole year, whatever they'd like to have, right? So you, as long as they understand that their offer is their decision, I think that's half the battle. And then you can see here we've included the seasonal variations. I'm going to make my screen the regular size again. We can see that actually make it a little bigger. So as you can see here, now that, each one, so nobody will get bored of seeing what's coming in the gate, right? If that comes in for 2 months, you'll barely get used to it before it moves on. But I think we'll be able to, with this, build the brand and make sure that people know where it's from and where they're coming to. So I'm comfortable with that positioning. And then again, we've got all 4 seasons. This is the monthly teaser email where we want to sort of direct some traffic after the offer has been put out. We may elect to put out an extra depending on, we certainly won't start that way, but we'll get some feedback on the number of hits to the website and that kind of thing, the number of coupon downloads. And we may actually put out a second or a third email depending on how we feel. We certainly don't want to inundate anybody, but we certainly want to make sure that we've got their attention as well. So we may put out a third email. But there's the monthly teaser, and again, it's done on the seasonal variation. So we may find that the teaser is a better responder, then we may change it up during the month. So month 1 we think we're going to lead with the coupons. In fact, that's the plan, and follow up with the teaser. But we may go vice versa depending on what kind of interest level we get.